let's get started. Trying to stay kind of Swiss and on time about things. I know we've got a lot to get through.
Okay, merci.
Perfect. So maybe Jérôme, you'd like to kind of kickstart things off?
Yes. Hello. Can everybody see me and hear me? It's me. It's Jérôme. You can send the webcam. Okay. So let's start. So I will start with a date. So almost 2 years ago, on December 2nd, 2019, we officially launched the Crypto Valley Western chapter during an event at Upperville. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. Because back then, for us, it was already very important for our association to extend its activity to the whole country, from Zug to Geneva via Zurich and Vaud. So yes, our Crypto Valley Association has been created in 2017 in Zug. We definitely keep our roots there, but we also are now building and promoting really an international blockchain ecosystem from Switzerland. And by the way, already 1/3 of our members are now based outside Switzerland. I also remember a few years ago, I met Lenig and all the Trust Valley team when they were thinking of creating this initiative and the Trust Valley. Of course, as a Roman, I'm based in Lausanne. I've supported them from the beginning, and I have to say I'm very impressed by their achievement, being able to involve 2 cantons, Geneva, Vaud, several like academics like PFL, University of Geneva, and recognized corporate, and of course a vibrant ecosystem of startups. So sometimes I hear people saying that there are too many valleys in Switzerland, and they are all competing against each other. I really think it's wrong. Like today, the valleys are connecting together, and I hope tonight we will be able to prove that we can create synergy to foster the development of Swiss innovation within the country and abroad. We have to remember Switzerland has been a country of valleys since August 1291. We draw our strengths from the connection of our valleys, of course, for trade, industry, tourism, but now also for our digital ecosystem. So yes, tonight we have co-created the program of the event together with Trust Valley. And yeah, it's really a great one. I'm super excited to hear more about and discover the startups selected by the Trust Valley for its Tech for Trust acceleration program. I also, of course, want to thank our corporate members, Signum Bank and Fortinet, for supporting this event, our association, and also the Trust Valley. We'll have the chance to have them during the panel in the second half of the event. So, but for now, yeah, I want to welcome you, Lenig Pedron, Executive Director of the Trust Valley. Thank you, Lenig, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Jérôme. We are so happy to be here with you tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, welcome to the very first roadshow of the Tech Fortress Season 3 in Zug, in the heart of the Crypto Valley. And we are very happy to co-organize this event with the Crypto Valley Association and our partners, Fortinet and Signum Bank. But at first, I am honored to give the floor to Alberto Diaz. Alberto is the Deputy Head of Economic Promotion at Economic Promotion State of Zug. So Alberto, the floor is yours.
Lenny, do you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. Well, grüezi miteinander. Bonsoir. Good evening to everybody. The Canton of Zug welcomes you all to this online event. It's a great pleasure to host this virtual roadshow. And let me please take the opportunity to thank CVA and Trust Valley for organizing another great event and bringing these 2 valleys together. We appreciate the high contribution to this dynamic blockchain environment. And as already said, it's not about Zug and another valley, it's about Switzerland in the end. I would also like to express how proud we are of the development of the blockchain industry and the ecosystem, which is not only in Zug, but in general in Switzerland. I mean, in only a few years, Crypto Valley has established a worldwide reputation for blockchain business ventures. On one side, of course, the cantonal and federal authorities, pragmatic and business-friendly attitude have played the role by contributing a solid regulatory framework, which allows the development of blockchain technologies for new global applications in a tokenized economy. On the other hand, this only has been possible by service providers, by associations, entering this new field, and above all, by dynamic entrepreneurs from all over the world. Entrepreneurs like you are, startups with good business ideas and which are willing to take risks and make things happen. As a representative of the canton of Zug, I'm very keen on seeing these innovative startups pitching their business ideas and getting to know the business plans. It's thanks to entrepreneurs like you that the Crypto Valley hosts in the meantime around 1,000 companies and over 5,000 employees, which is one of the best places for blockchain in the world. That said, I wish you all lots of success and endurance on your way forward. So without further ado, I would like to hand over back to Lenny.
Thank you so much, Alberto. So just right now, I will give you some more information about the Trust Valley and all related to the program Tech for Trust. So I will share my slide. Okay, yes, what is Trust Valley? Trust Valley is a PPP, so it's public-private partnership, and it's for that we are very happy to have State of Zug with us today. 2 cantons, 2 states are involved in the Trust Valley at this time, but we are working to involve more states and more partners too. This is the state of Vaud and state of Geneva, and we have some academics, 6 academics, and also a lot of partners. You can see here all our partners. So this is the Trust Valley at right now, with some 2 big parts, with the long technical part with EPFL, UNIL, and the other, and all related to the Geneva International part. We are working science-driven innovation with 8 areas of expertise, like cybersecurity, but not only. We have also we work on smart contracts, on blockchain, with academics as EPFL on the University of Geneva, and 8 fields of application related to sustainable development goals of UN. The Tech for Trust. What is the Tech for Trust? This is our first concrete program, but we are working right now in another program dedicated to SMEs. So for us, Tech for Trust, this is the first Swiss startup acceleration program in the field of digital trust and cyber security, with a pillar dedicated to blockchain. So this is the 3rd season. We have this year, we are very proud to have 30 startups with us on tonight. We have nearly 24 or 25 startups on stage. And what is really great with this program is we are working to make a lot of peer-to-peer, and now we have 35 alumni, and they work together to be really close and go in consortium to make some good economic development. And here we are at the beginning of the winter. It will be intense for all of us. And we will work in a workshop. So in this week, we will have, for example, with Frode Irving, the Craft Your Culture workshop. It's a new kind of way to see talent and to work for startups, to have the good way to recruit and find the good people, because we really need that. This is a success, and we have so much good people in Switzerland in our area. So it's some things like this time. We are working in partnership workshop too, and now we are in the roadshow of Zug. Next week, maybe if it's all right with COVID, we will be in Zurich with PwC, and next in Geneva in the Nordic. This is a new workshop, and all related to Qualys and the other. And we will finish with a roadshow in US, in Trust Valley meet Silicon Valley after the Crypto Valley. So we have an advisory board. So if you want to be part of the Trust Valley, just contact us. We are very happy to work with experts and to open the mind with the startupper on the P2B. So thank you very much for your attention. And let's go now to the startupper and with the 2 panel and keynotes, and have a good evening with us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lenny, for the presentation. It's amazing all that you've been able to achieve in such a short amount of time. And I can only imagine that it's gonna grow exponentially in the next couple of years to come. So I'd like to introduce the first round of startups. We're gonna go for 8 startups at the current point in time, and then we will go through to the keynote. So one of the most important things to keep in mind here is that each one of our panelists will have 1.5 minutes to respond to the questions that are asked to them. So please, on behalf of everyone, be precise and quick. So the first person to join today, and please excuse my poor Swiss German pronunciation, but Jonathan Wurterich from CollectID. Are you with us today?
Yes, it's fine. It's Johan.
Yes, Johan. Okay.
I don't speak Swiss German either, so you're forgiven.
Wonderful. All right. So please tell us what is your solution and what's innovative about it?
Yeah. So what we provide are product identification solution to help brand fight counterfeiting, product diversion, and to create a connection between the brand and the consumer. And how does it work? We embed invisible marking directly into the packaging artworks that is printed at the same time than the packaging, which means that each single unit of product has a unique invisible identifier on it. So when on fraud suspicion, the brand auditor, all they have to do is to scan the product with their scanned smartphone, and they instantly know where the product comes from, if it's real or fake, and if it's on the correct market. And for each scan, all the data is saved on our database that can be accessed by the brand, where they have analytics to know exactly what is going on with the product on the field. And what's new with that is that the consumer can scan also the product, but they will access targeted marketing content, which means that when a consumer scans, the brand gets consumer data, plus in the background, we run our product identification algorithms. So they get marketing data from the consumer, product identification data. So we turn each scanning consumer into a free controller for the brand.
Thank you. Right on time. I don't know if you heard the timer at all.
Yeah, no, I heard it, but I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask me the second question, so I paused.
Oh no! I did it all in one. Two in one. But
perfect.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shiraz.
My pleasure. Next up is Axel Heintigens from Learning Robots. I hope that was well pronounced. Are you with us today?
Yes, sure, I'm here.
Wonderful, thank you. So please tell us what your problem is and the customer pain points that you're trying to solve with regards to trust in society.
Okay, I am the Chief Commercial Officer of Learning Robots, and our mission is to teach artificial intelligence in high schools and universities. The solution we propose has three components: a friendly robots learning in front of your eyes, a software to view and create algorithms in real time, and rich pedagogical resources. We are already very successful in France, and we have a plan to sell our solutions in most European countries and in the USA to reach 10 million euros revenues in 2025. The problem and the pain that we are trying to solve is the following. Today, very few young people understand what's behind the words artificial intelligence. Tomorrow, artificial intelligence will be everywhere in our lives. It will be a real pain to know nothing about it. We will be passive users with no critical thinking, and this will be very dangerous. Our solution is very friendly and progressive. It gives basics to pupils in middle school. It allows students to become AI specialists, and it can be used in vocational training in enterprise. Why is it so important with regard to trust in society? We strongly believe that if every young man or woman understands the basics of artificial intelligence, they will become better citizens and they will benefit from better opportunity equality. Thank you.
Fantastic. You had 2 seconds left, so right on time. And thank you so much. Education is really important. I couldn't agree more. So next up, and I think I will only pronounce the first name, it's probably better, is Catriona from Photocert. Are you here with us?
I am, I'm here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. And maybe you can explain to us a little bit what your competitive advantage relative to existing and similar technologies of what you've created.
Okay, so hello, my name is Katrina Deacon. I'll pronounce it for you. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer here at Photocert. When companies need to perform a visual inspection, for example, a motor claim, they must either rely on expensive and inefficient processes like face-to-face inspections, or they also need to rely on third-party data, which can be subject to fraud. Our competitors mainly focus on process automation, the side of things, while neglecting the trustworthiness of the visual data. So here at Photocert, we believe there is no point in solving one problem and creating a new one. We digitize visual inspection processes and use different technologies like AI and OCR and augmented reality to extract as much valuable data for our clients while preventing fraud. How do we do this? By using our proprietary technology to authenticate images and videos. We have a flexible and modular product that offers high customer centricity, so that allows us to amend to the different client needs. Our products will both reduce operational costs and risks for our clients. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Next up, we have David from CollectID.
Hello.
Can you hear as well?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us. Maybe you'd like to talk to us now a little bit about what intellectual property exists for your business, technology, or product.
Yeah, thank you very much. As we heard already, so there is a lot of solution to authenticate products and to provide consumers with a guarantee of authenticity, or to make sure that they know if something is authentic or fake. And I think where we go one step further is we want to integrate these technologies into the product. So actually that you can, for example, wear a product and you can still prove it's authentic, which is especially interesting for secondary trading. So if you resell a product. Yeah, our intellectual property is on the one hand protected by a patent pending in the United States. So we are the inventors of connecting, or let's say, bringing a unique identifier and then basically creating a digital twin of this on the blockchain as an NFT, a non-fungible token. And this is pretty interesting, especially with the upcoming concepts of metaverse, because it basically allows you as a brand or a sports club to sell a product in the physical world, to make sure it's authentic, but then also to allow your consumers to wear the same product in the metaverse, which will create some very nice opportunities in the next years.
Incredible. Thank you so much. You're speaking a lot about the metaverse lately, so I can't wait to see more of that. Thank you so much for joining us, David.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Fabien from PharmaConnect. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Wonderful. I feel like everyone's here today. It's fantastic.
All right.
So maybe we go and dive straight in, and you can tell us a little bit about what your organization's kind of competitive value is, and where your value proposition is compared to maybe some of your competitors, and why you think it will win.
Yeah, sure. So maybe, yeah, quickly to myself. My name is Fabian Portman. Really happy to be here. I'm the CTO here at PharmaConnect. Before we talk about the value proposition and the USP, maybe a quick description of what we do. Probably the easiest way to describe that is we see ourselves as food industry experts delivering trusted end-to-end traceability solutions. And we primarily work with clients in coffee or cocoa, pretty much around the globe. So we have clients in the US, Japan, Netherlands, Finland, Brazil, Rwanda, and so on. So really a broad scale. And we're in market with our three offerings that try to sort of cement our position as end-to-end. So one of our offerings is Source. It's primarily aimed at origin, where we're working strongly with cooperatives or other companies that have a footprint at source. The other offering that we have is Operate, which is aimed at the traders, commodity traders, and Promote. It's the one that we sort of work closest with roasters, for example. So when it comes to competitors, I think we have, we're not the only traceability company out there. I think there's several other solution providers. There's direct competitors like Provenance or SourceMap. There's also, for larger companies, we compete with in-house solutions. We can, an example for that would be Olam's at Source, or even larger tech players like Amazon. They're very, they of course have a very, very big footprint inside supply chain. So there's definitely several competitors out there. We, however, think that we will win because we're really backed by the industry. We have a lot of industry expertise inside the company. We have robust and scalable technology that enables the secure data sharing, and ultimately our digital solutions, they should really help businesses to turn traceability, into sustainable growth.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Fabian, for the presentation. Next up, we have Lucas from Fully Verified. Are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. I'm very happy I didn't have to pronounce your last name there.
The tough one, yes.
Fantastic. So maybe you can tell us what your sales and distribution channels are.
Sure. So my name is Lucas, and I'm the founder of Fully Verified. We are an identity verification service. So basically what we do is we check if you are who you say you are online. And we solve the problem of many identity verification services being too easy to cheat and not complying with higher level regulations. We created our company because when we looked at the market, we realized that most of the solutions available were simply insufficient, and we wanted to create something that delivers higher security and higher compliance, which in turn prevents fraud from happening. And that's why we use video as the main channel for our verifications. We don't rely just on taking pictures. It's often not something that other solutions can provide. Most of them rely on taking simple pictures of documents and a selfie. Whereas with us, the whole procedure is recorded on video from start to finish, which allows us to see the entire process and not just parts of it like the pictures. And it also gives us a lot more data that we can analyze. In terms of our main sales and distribution channels, we work with companies such as financial institutions, cryptocurrency exchanges, fintechs, banks, marketplaces, and we find the most success with reaching them by SEO and pay-per-click, as it's really targeted and allows us to easily connect with customers that have a specific search intent. We also do a lot of email outreach and have designed a system where we can reach decision makers reliably. We also do content marketing, mostly via LinkedIn and also through paid editorials. And we also sell via partners such as consultants or integrators who recommend our services for a fee. And once we acquire prospects, we usually have customers go through an online demo with one of our sales team members and work from there. So thank you. My name is Lucas, and the company is called Fully Verified, and we will be happy to help with any KYC needs.
Wonderful, Lucas. Thank you so much. Two more startups to present before we head to our keynote. Thomas from GeneLook, are you here with us?
I am.
Wonderful. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you anticipate as the primary costs and revenue streams for your business.
Yeah, GeneLook is a multi-sided platform that is helping patients, academic researchers, and industry, the biopharma industry, in accelerating drug discovery and development for rare and chronic diseases by using genomic information and other health and medical information in patients' electronic health records. And so for our integrative functions, our main anticipated costs are on the data generation, the generation of the genomics and other omics data, the data curation and analysis, and of course, as we all know, how we store securely and how we keep this data private while we are sharing it with third parties that can really benefit from it. And our main revenue streams, we have a hybrid business model that's B2B, but driven by the B2C, the patients themselves, who are co-creating our solutions and going through the whole process with them. And we have a subscription model for consumers and patients, as well as on the B2B side, data access fees for the aggregated anonymized data and potentials for identifying patients for inclusion into clinical trials. But overall, the costs for us are slim in compared to the value of this data and the benefit that the scientific community can get from it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Thomas. And now last but not least of this first session of startup pitches is Walid of Global Data Excellence. Walid, are you with us?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for being with us today.
Perfect.
Maybe you can tell us more about who the founders and key team members are of your company, and any maybe key additions you see in the short term.
Yeah, so myself, I'm Dr. Walid El Abed. I am linguist and computer scientist, and I am the founder and CEO of Global Data Excellence. So the key, actually, the purpose of Global Data Excellence is to enable cooperation and governance of companies and corporations using policies written in natural language and optimizing the cooperation between the different parties. So it requires the connection between the law, data, and money. So it means that from a team perspective, we need to have multidisciplinary team in order to create this AI that requires knowledge in computer science, in law, and in business management and money management. So mainly the founders and the team of GDE are experts in that discipline. And for us, the next step, because we are already sponsored, we won the Horizon 2020. We are the only AI that exists on Earth that enables the cooperation in natural language, and that has no need for computer scientists or data analysts actually to cooperate. So our focus now is to scale. So meaning that we would like to enforce our team with commercial guys.
Fantastic. Sounds exciting. Good luck, Walid, and thank you for the pitch. Wow. Eight startups already. I think we're right on time there. Thank you so much for keeping the timing. Really important, I think, for everyone here today. Hope they were very interesting to you all. And now it's time to introduce our key note speaker, Patrick. Patrick, who is the head of key management at SIX Digital Exchange, and of course a lovely member of the Crypto Valley Association Cybersecurity Working Group. Patrick, the floor is yours.
Okay, Shabazz, thank you for the warm welcome and the opportunity to speak at this event. I'm really happy to be here, and I also want to thank Lenin and Sharon especially also to have this chance here to speak. What I see here is, I think, a lot of new ideas and really bright ideas. I think some of them I liked already, and I went through this, we'll come to this a bit later. So to give a brief overview, you mentioned already, started at the SIX Digital Exchange as head key management this summer. Before I was the CISO at the private bank, and here was working since 2017 in the crypto space. So this was a really interesting time and startup phase where we were able to get into this feature and into this new area, and it was totally different. So the first thing what we learned is when we get into this area was nobody understood it. So we just went there and said, what we tried to explain what crypto means to the financial people, and we also went through the several stages to get things now to get understanding. Now, if I look at it now, the system has evolved much better, and the financial institutes are quite aware of what is going on. And what we see here is a steep learning curve. I'm really impressed also to see that these solutions which are here, that this development is continuously ongoing. We have in 2017, there was not much around the crypto or the Bitcoin value was really down, really low in comparison to what it is high. And the market capitalization was also at a very low level. So what has happened in this meantime? I think what has happened is what you see during this course of time is something very interesting. The people are coming together. The crypto was basically starting as a group of techies, of nerds, which developed it in their home basement and tried to scale, to identify problems and to solve problems which nobody was thinking of even in the financial industry. So they were moving fast, they were moving really in innovative ways we never thought of. And this is something where business financial is started to think about it. What is the reason behind it? How can we improve it? And they slowly start to get into this area. More and more companies are getting used to adopt these new services. So I think this is a tremendous phase now. We are here because we are now in the beginning, since several years, this process is beginning to merge together. On the one side, the innovative new technology, open-minded with technology enthusiasts and with new people thinking about out of the box. And on the other side, financial industry, which is more regulated, which is more required to be stable, to be very, very careful before going into a new area. And this is now meeting and getting together. I see here several like this solution for traceability with non-fungible tokens, non-repudiation. That's exactly the aspects which are required by the financial industry, also by the normal industry, to make it safe, to make it secure. And I'm really happy that this is now happening on this area. So what is changing is the development speed. First, it was really small scale. Several small exchanges occurred, came up, just small little companies came up. And now it's the race is ongoing. And we see a lot more services coming up. NFT was the last time. I think last day was the crypto stamp initiative from the Post, which was also very exciting to touch this area. We hear here new projects, and I think some of them will come to a good to success, which ensure maybe not only financial, maybe trading. You know, the whole logistics of international trading have a huge problem of ensuring the continuous supply chain and traceability on the supply chain. Food is a real huge sector where they also need to have traceability. So all this stuff is merging together and meeting at these events which are taking place here. And if we can manage, I think about the last ones which also happened, parachains on Polkadot, and so if we can unleash these limitations to bring the stuff together, we are not only opening the power to new investments, to new offerings, to new services, we are also opening the borders. And this will take longer because regulations are still per country, but these regulations will definitely adapt to the new situation and will allow then to have these services not only offered in one country, but offered on an international level. And so I must say, this is all this journey we are now in. I'm really, really excited. And when I see maybe that 6 Digital has issued the first bond in this month, and is the first digital bond, I think these are major steps, and I must say I'm very, very happy and proud to be part of this journey. I could continue on this, but I would say I told you now a lot about it, so therefore I would say hand back to Sheraz and would say thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Patrick, for those very insightful words. And now it's time to introduce Pascal for the moderation of the second round of pitches. Pascal is the Secretary General of the Economy of Trust Foundation. Pascal, the floor is yours.
Sure, thanks so much. I'll try to do as well, and as timely as you just did. We'll see if crypto and Trust Valley have the same sense of time. At least we have a sense of location today, so we're all excited to do this. So let me get started as well on this, and greetings from the campus of innovation called Square One, sitting in the middle of the Trust Valley. And I'm just reaching out to put a timer as well. And meanwhile, we're going to start with you, Simon, from jitsui. And we'd like to understand from you, what are the biggest risks that you face? And of course, who sees risks as mitigation? So Simon, let's get started. I have 90 seconds starting as soon as you're ready.
Thank you, Pascal. So this is Simon from jitsui, and we provide a software solution for whenever data or assets are shared between companies. The software solution is called Archivist. It's been built by a team of experts in distributed ledger and security, and we use some blockchain technologies within it. And effectively what we do is we provide the ability to track who did what and when to an asset or a data set, and to keep that record forever for audit and compliance purposes. So we provide a very simple tool for developers or business users, and that gives them accountability, governance, provenance, integrity around what they do. And I would say at the moment, the biggest challenge that most of our customers face is most people think this is incredibly difficult to do, to control, govern, share data and assets between companies. And it's really now possible to do that extremely simply. As an example, we're being used to track nuclear waste as it moves around and various people interact with it. We're being used to track what happens in smart grids and smart cities. We're being used to provide software bill of materials to track what happens in software or in AI. So our biggest challenge now is effectively really just making people aware that these type of solutions really do exist and can be very simply integrated and used.
Fantastic, just on time. Thank you so much, Simon. Good luck on your venture. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Veronica Savo of Photocert. And for you, Veronica, what is your solution? What is innovative about it? And maybe what is so good about it?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Do you see me?
Of course, you're good. Ready to go.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'm Veronica Savo, the CEO and co-founder of Photocert, a deep tech spin-off from EPFL, the Polytechnical Federal Institute of Lausanne. We at Corophotonix protect people's health and well-being by providing to brands secure physical authentication and traceability of their products and packaging. All this with zero inks, zero labels, and zero consumables. Effectively, we bring passport-level security marking to any molded product, from a vaccine rubber stopper, an insulin pen, even directly onto pharmaceutical pills. You have a product that is too small and complex to hold and place an authentication label on? Is it impossible to find the security feature complying with pharma regulations? Or we just need a marking that can be applied, doesn't peel off, and is embedded directly in the material without additives. Our instant authentication and multiple security levels are available to the consumers as well as to targeted stakeholders, brands, investigative teams, and border control. Again, no consumables needed for application onto product, no cumbersome detection units for product identification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Good luck on your next step of your venture, Sue. And now Marco Stewart of Original will tell you a bit more about what she's working on. And we're especially interested in your sales and distribution channel, Marco. All right, I don't see the list of panelists, so I don't know if one of the colleagues can help me out. Have we lost Margot? Is she not here?
I can see her. I'm here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So I'll just jump right in. So
fantastic. Thank you.
We're active in the fight against counterfeiting and illicit trade. Original's core technology is an aggregation platform allowing any stakeholder to differentiate legitimate from fake or illicitly traded products, regardless of the security solution adopted by or imposed on brands. We have a 5-year exclusive deployment agreement signed with the African Continental Free Trade Area, mandating us to deploy our technology throughout its 54 countries, potentially reaching 1.3 billion people. We'll do so via 2 applications. A first one intended for structured user groups, such as a particular law enforcement agency. This will be followed by an app developed for consumers, where we will take into consideration behavioral trends and open up permission-based channels of communication between brands and their consumers. In the case of our AFTA contract, brands are requested to join the initiative by the AFTA Secretariat. In other words, this is a government-imposed process in exchange of trade benefits and penalties should brands decide not to join. Original has the mandate to onboard the brands and create the interoperability with the security solution companies.
Fantastic. Perfect timing, Margot. Thanks so much. Good luck as well.
Thank you.
now we're moving on to Claude-Alain Rotten of OffOff Analytics. I'm sorry, Claude-Alain. And for you, Off Analytics, yes, thank you. And we'd like to understand from you, what are the drivers of cost and revenue streams for your business, please? So you got exactly 90 seconds starting just now.
Okay, so our business is a detection of fraud and crime by comparison of styles spotted by unsupervised machine learning. So our approach, which detects plagiarism, like plagiarism detection software, is unrivaled for ghostwriting detection of a writer determination of anonymous letters. In France, for the Gregory murder case, we are the only ones to determine the suspect who writes in the style closest to that of the transcript of the 130-character letter claiming the child's murder. Our analysis of the terrorist messages in the Quanon corpus is the first to identify 2 styles and therefore at least 2 authors. We will soon publish who writes among suspects with a style closest to that used in the Quanon messages. These 2 examples illustrate to prospect how to determine the writer of anonymous message. Recently, we realized that we are also able to detect accounting fraud by tracking fraudulent changes in numeric entries. Our first course were used to develop and validate our stilometric software. 2 patents are filed. Currently, our know-how without competition is used for expert report, 10 reports in 2021. Each new mandate allows us to finance and adapt our artificial intelligence to new needs. Our priority is to offer servers in order to obtain regular revenues. Offering servers for simple case will lower the cost, sharing the investigation work between the client and OffOff Analytics. The experts of OffOff Analytics are available for complicated case. So the sector where our algorithms can be used are diverse. So therefore, we are looking for partners for joint ventures that are looking to extend their offer.
Thank you so much, Claude. Sorry to interrupt you, but I noticed as well we have more info in the chat. You had a lot to say, so we're grateful for that, and thank you for participating today. Next is Steve Badger of PrivacyOne. Again, I think for you it's a team question. Steve, really curious to learn more about the team, the key founders, and of course also maybe anything that's coming on the horizon, because we have a terrific group of people here around the virtual table. So you got 90 seconds.
Hi, nice to talk to everyone. So I'm Steve Badger, co-founder of PrivacyOne. We develop and sell unique software that allows organizations to build in privacy and data protection into their business processes and actually into their applications. That helps them build trust. It helps them mitigate the risk of breach and reputational damage. So we're made up of 3 key leads, CEO, CTO, he's ex-Spotify, experienced software developer and entrepreneur. He leads the product development. Myself, I'm the CRO, CMO, multi-startup experience, built privacy brands in Sweden before with a Swedish company, background in technical sales coming from organizations like Cisco and BMC. So I lead sales and marketing. And we also have a legal advisor. He's a chief privacy officer for a major brand, author, privacy specialist, lawyer. So he's our legal counsel and advisor to the business. In terms of where we're going next, the product that we have for unlike many startups, it's a mature product, it's ready to go. So our investment will be in customer success. We want to grow and build in our current base. So keeping happy customers is key to that. Reputation and recommendation, we want to be able to be recommended by other people, and ACV renewal. And finally, sales, we want to increase our ACV and we want to increase our customer acquisition. So that's where our investment will be going forward.
Fantastic, Steve. Right on time as we're closing, and congrats on that really nice microphone that we can see on your little side. I don't know if you have a podcast, maybe you could share more in the chat. Fantastic.
Sure, no problem.
All right, Francois Rodriguez of RealTime is next. And for you, Francois, we're back into thinking about risk and mitigation. So please walk us through your business and the risk that you're facing.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So I'm introducing quickly RealTime, which is a communication and collaboration platform with privacy and human technology at its core. So what really does it mean is that we are combining the modern messaging together with the meeting and file sharing platform with a very oriented around the privacy for people to be able to collaborate. So our technology is the differentiator. We are basically using human technology as the pillar to differentiate ourselves. So privacy by design is how we empower our community to really choose the lifespan of the data, where the data needs to be hosted, and what they want to do with it after being using it. So the platform is end-to-end encrypted. This is the security platform. And we are optimizing the software consumption as well as the system energy sourcing to be able to be zero net in terms of carbon footprint. So in terms of biggest risk these days, the number one risk is coming from Switzerland, which has been really lagging behind adopting, security. We've seen guys testimonying at the TechTrust launch, where basically after a ransomware or system compromised by hackers, they were not even able to communicate among themselves, which is putting at risk the business continuity for themselves. How we mitigate that? Obviously, we're using platforms like this one to promote ourselves, but more importantly, how we drive business is outside Switzerland. We've been building a hub in Dubai to cover Middle East and Africa, which is our biggest growth. And we're just opening a new hub now in Warsaw to cover north of Europe.
Thank you so much, Francois. And I think we could certainly pick up on the discussion during the networking on what we could make to make sure Switzerland is also an early adopter of all the wonderful technologies that this group is developing. Excellent. So we're going to skip one. I think we have one absent person today. So I'm turning directly to you, Sylvain Felix of Smart Cockpit. And for you, the question is really kind of looking forward and telling us a bit the short term and I would say medium term, like 1 year, 5 year impact that you're trying to accomplish with your company. So you got 90 seconds too.
Thanks, Pascal. So I'm Sylvain Felix, founder of Smart Cockpit. And we offer a cyber governance solution. So we help linking business strategy with security that is needed to make sure you mitigate the risks. So it's important to get the right governance and good governance on security today, especially on the digital world. So we are happy and luckily self-funded, thanks to our customers that help us from the beginning. And we have been able to validate the usability and the usefulness of the solution. So regarding the future, so for the 1 years ahead, we'd like to be more upscaling to the regional levels. I would say what I talk regional is the proximity, so Switzerland, Swiss German, Swiss French, and as well as France, Germany, Italy, and Austria. And for the next 5 years, so we intend to be more global. So our target now is to really scale up to be able to reach the global level within the 5 years.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Right on time as well. And I think it's a great way to conclude this part by really kind of putting also Switzerland on the map to a certain extent. I think, kind of looking at the valleys and very much back to the intro that Shiraz and Alberto did. I think, the role of people like me really trying to put the spotlight on the efforts that are being made and continue to make sure that we can help you scale up and attract the investment and corporate that will make it happen. So with this concludes the part 2, and I'm, giving the mic back to Shiraz for the next part.
Fantastic, Pascal. Thank you so much. And as you promised, you did keep the time very, very well as well. So it's fantastic, fantastic to see. So I think now next up is our panel, and time to introduce Nikki. Nikki who is the head of digital and the co-executive director of the Crypto Valley Association. And Nikki will be moderating the next panel on how important is the cybersecurity for an investor in startups. So Nikki, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Shiraz. I would like to ask my dear panelists to come onto the camera, and who is not participating in the panel, please, if you could turn your camera off so we could just see the panel, that would be fantastic. I think we're still missing Martin, and Pascal, if you could come back, that would be great. But yes, today, as Shiraz mentioned, we're going to have a very exciting panel. We are going to talk about the importance of cybersecurity when it comes to investors, right? So we heard from a lot of startups earlier, and we're going to hear from more startups later on. But now let's take a bit of a look from an investor's perspective, right? How important is cybersecurity? And I'm really glad that we have some amazing guests today here that can answer this question. Without any particular order, I would like to introduce you to Olivier Bussolini. He's the Chief Information Security Officer at Signum Bank. We also have Ishan Dogan. He is the Manager for Systems Engineering for Enterprise Accounts at Fortinet. We also have Martin Eisenring. He is the co-founder and partner of Digital Assets Legal Advisors, and he is also CVA's working group chair for the investor working group. So he's really close to some of the investors. And we have Pascal Marmia, and he is the Secretary General. Of course, you have met him earlier, for the Economy of Trust Foundation, SICPA. So welcome, gentlemen. Really glad to have you today. And I think I would like to kick off the panel with a question to Olivier. So Olivier, Signum has gone through investment rounds, and I think you have a firsthand experience of what the due diligence process looks like, when an investor is considering investing in Signum. And I would love for you to share some of your experiences of this due diligence process, especially around cybersecurity. What was it like? What did they pay attention to? How important was it to the investors? Please give us some insights.
Yes, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Thank you, Nikki. Yes, that's the due diligence we've been going through a few times now already. So when the investors are looking at a company, even if it's a company that's pretty mature, such as Signum, they are always looking at the baseline security. So our bread and butter, NIST, CSF, or ISO 27 fundamentals of cybersecurity. So that's not something very new. And what's more interesting is that when you're talking about a bank like Signum, which is dedicated to processing digital assets, you start to look at some of the specificities of anything related to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So one of the exciting topics is everything around secret management. So we have, of course, HSMs and HSM-based processes. I think that last year, if I remember well, you had an in-depth presentation of the HSM security, including very interesting procedures such as the famous key ceremony. So making sure that you are documenting properly how you are going to be generating those diamonds, and that are the root keys, and how you are then going to propagate them in your HSMs, how you are linking them, and basically making sure that your secrets are, meaning the wallets of your clients, be they banks or client, how they are secure. That's a big topic. And I would say maybe another one, in cybersecurity, we've been talking about application security for a long time. But when we are speaking about blockchain and smart contracts, we are really going one level deeper into this topic. And we are really working on making sure that the business logic of those processes, of those contracts, and the different protocols that we are setting up to create those digital asset products, so that the business logic is secured, that you cannot find flaws in the logic, so that people could create attacks based on just you have forgotten one use case, and then bang, you can be attacked this way. And we are also working at the level of the coding. So like you would be trying to achieve secure code in your usual bread and butter applications. Here is the code in the smart contract or in the different protocols that you are using. So very specific topic, like, how do you manage the blockchain data, how you are managing gas usage and limitations, looking at token security. I mean, all those interesting topics are investigated quite in depth by those external parties. So baseline security, secret management, and I would say all the heart of the blockchain code that we are creating.
Wow, that sounds very in-depth. And then so it seems to me that they are really paying very, very close attention to cybersecurity and making sure that you're bulletproof on all ends.
Well, you know, first we are a bank, so the bank has to be at a certain standard. And as we are developing, as I said, I would say pretty new set of tools, processes, code, even if we are, of course, using some middleware that are provided by very specific companies. We are not, for example, recreating our HSM, that's for sure. But the integration of the HSM, the articulation between the different modules and making sure that you have an end-to-end security, including the hardware, the middleware, the software, this is really where the challenge is and the fun of being a CISO in such a context, of course.
Thank you so much for all this interesting insights. The next question I would like to pose to Martin. This one is a bit more generic. So Martin, based on your experiences, you know, talking to investors, being in this world, how important is cybersecurity for investors when they're looking at a startup?
I think it's maybe not the first topic which will be addressed if you discuss a business model, but it's a condition to be part of this. I think you don't want to invest in something which is not compliant or not secured. And so I think it's really something, it's a base standard. It's something which you have to do. Like you don't go to a bank if they're not, if they can keep your deposits. So it's something which is not on the top of the discussion list again, but I think it's a basis. You have to showcase that you're able, that you've thought about what could happen. And I mean, we know now the developments the last few years and the risks. I mean, it's one of the predominant risks, especially in digital business models. So it's an absolutely top priority.
So basically, it's a given. Everybody has to get it right. Otherwise, there's no investment.
Yeah.
And Pascal, what is your experience around the same topic or for the same question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think I'd say two things. I would agree, and I would reinforce the part that's on compliance. I think there's going to be more of it. You're going to have certainly audits, and especially if you're working with corporations like cybersecurity, I think it's going to become more important, as Martin said. I would add another dimension that I think a smart investor would be looking at. I think cyber might also give you an insight into the organizational structure and to a certain extent the culture of the company as well, right? So we talked earlier in one of the startup with the cyber governance, but just kind of, you know, peeking through this, especially if you're looking for a scale-up investment or a company that has to basically go to the next stage, I think is a really important element to look at. And finally, don't forget that cyber is also synonymous with human elements, right? So it can also kind of tell you how people get trained and how they organize. So again, I would kind of unpack and to a certain extent use cyber also as a way to kind of look a little bit deeper into some of what's going on within startup from an investor perspective.
Yeah, so basically it could be a reflection of how a company is organized. Like if cybersecurity is done right, then
I would
it's
think
an
so,
indication to an investor that they are doing things the proper way.
And I'll maybe ask the question further to the panel if they would agree on it, but at least that would be my way to approach it for sure.
Any thoughts on that, Olivier?
Yes, completely agree. So the compliance is a given specifically when you are in the bank, so that we have to do it. So that's not the discussion. The level of maturity of cybersecurity is really driven for me by the level of maturity of the board, which is giving you the money, the drive, the support. And so I agree with Pascal. If you are able to demonstrate a high level of maturity, in cybersecurity. I think it's also translating a level of maturity of other groups or department or functions higher in the food chain. So yes, it's giving a certain dimension or an additional view, or it's casting a different light on the organization itself.
And Ishan, of course, Fortinet's bread and butter is security. What is your opinion? Do you think that it's one of the most crucial parts, cybersecurity, for a company's well-being, and is it a reflection of their success if cybersecurity is done right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wasn't really surprised when Martin mentioned that at a startup or at a very early stage, security isn't part of the business. And what we see quite often that companies start and they're actually busy to get their core business up and running. And as soon as they have something valuable to go on the market, they say, oh, we have to take care of security as well. And then actually the problem starts. Even if you act quickly and you got everything up and running, you still have the risk to get compromised and have your data or your intellectual property stolen. So from the security perspective, actually security has to be already part of the business plan and has to be integrated from the very, very beginning.
And do you see...
If I may add something here also quickly, I think, I mean, also, especially now in the crypto and in the blockchain business, which is natively digital, cybersecurity is even much more important. And I think the reason of existence for institutions such as Signum and other is also to provide this security. Otherwise, especially institutional investors, pension funds, etc., would be impossible for them to invest in this kind of business. So I think this is really a precondition for growth in this market. If there is no comfort to invest in this market, if we would have other cases such as Mt. Gox, etc., then this market could not develop. So it's a condition to move forward and to attract the big guys in this business.
Absolutely. If I can add just one thing, and when you look at what is blockchain about, it's about trust and having technology creating trust. So if you are a Swiss bank and you're not able to show that people can trust you, I think that you have nothing to do in this business, and that's why, yeah, we are here in Signum.
That's true, but if we don't just talk about banks, let's consider other companies who's like maybe they are handling digital assets, but maybe they are handling digital information that are not necessarily financial information, right? I also think that cybersecurity and digital trust are similar, but they can be very different as well, right? Like in this new age, we're paying more and more attention to privacy and paying more attention to what is happening to the data that we hand over to certain companies. So do you think that besides cybersecurity, like keeping digital assets and financial assets safe and making sure that the company's data is not being breached, do you think now companies pay more attention to making sure that their customers' personal data is being protected as well? Like, do you see a trend forming in a way where we're not necessarily just thinking about monetary value, but privacy?
Is the question to me?
To all of you, actually. Whoever would like to answer.
Yeah, well, I can go on, yes. I mean, GDPR in the EU, even if you are partial, not directly, let's say it that way, not directly affected, had an impact on the Swiss market as well. And the biggest thing what we saw is that it made companies think, what is the impact out on the market to my customers, or maybe even legally, if I do not apply security correctly? And what we saw a lot is that companies really started to think is like, how do you implement security correctly that I can avoid a breach? This is something that what we really have seen in the last couple of years.
And Nishan, you have something exciting called the Zero Trust Network, right? That now came into even more focus that we're working remotely. Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Yes, Zero Trust is well, quite a new, let's call it quite a new approach as it really took off in 2021. So companies, and especially startups or regular companies who are there already for a while, they have basically users and applications which are located at different locations. They can be in the cloud, at a service provider, or in their own data center. So what you want to avoid is that someone who gains access to your infrastructure, it doesn't matter from where he's coming, if he's in your office, on a premise, or getting through the employee's notebook, what you want to avoid is that this person is gaining access or can somehow access the application or the database that you're hosting with customer data. So let me give you an example. So if you look at, for example, if I get your car key, which is basically in IT terms the username and password for your car, I can take the car key, walk to your car, open the car door, sit in the car, start the engine, and drive. So there is no validation if I'm allowed to drive your car or not. So this is where Zero Trust comes in. Zero Trust doesn't mean that we are not trusting anymore the customers or the partners or the suppliers. It basically means that every time something happens, we're going to validate in real time if this person is allowed to access this resource. So what that means is if I access, for example, within the company, a resource like, for example, the CRM, there is going to be a real-time audit, and I will be verified if my resource that I'm using, or the endpoint that I'm using, and myself is allowed to access this resource.
That's very cool. And of course, now that we're living in such a digitalized world, I feel like there could be an attack on all of your personal devices or non-personal devices at any time. So to have technologies that protect this is very interesting.
Exactly. So the idea is if something happens, we want to make sure that it stays only on that device which is affected and doesn't spread across your infrastructure.
Cool. And let's talk about whether, I mean, I think we mentioned this, that cybersecurity should be part of the business model, right? But do you want to elaborate a little bit more on the topic, Martin or Pascal?
Yeah, maybe. I think, I mean, especially, I mean, Oliver also mentioned it, the reason of being from Signum and other banks in this state. I think it's interesting, especially also in Switzerland. I mean, we made this experience here with, I mean, the whole banking secrecy discussion we had the last 10, 15 years. If we think back, I mean, of course, now we changed all our legal framework, which is fine, but the initial point there was that it was not possible anymore for financial institutions to keep secrecies. They were not able to protect data within their banks, and this then created a whole change of mindset, lots of mindset, etc., and changed eventually also the legal perspective. And so I think this is very important. You know, if you're not able de facto to protect something, then the whole business model can change. And I think there it's often let's say the developments in society or in law, it's not the intention, it doesn't start in the parliament. It starts somewhere with an accident or with de facto developments. And this was just like the banks, they had so much information digitally, but they didn't have yet the protection tools which are required. And I think this made it very clear. And I mean, this could happen to many other sectors. I mean, if we think about big data, if we think about Apple, Google, etc., if you would have leaks in these systems, I mean, this could create that the whole sector will break apart. And probably it's even happening now. I mean, if we see what were the discussions also within the European Union, there is maybe too much power with all this data together, but if you're not able to protect it, then our public bodies for sure will take steps that this data cannot be collected together at one place. And so I think it's really, again, it's just a basis. You can't build a business model in the digital space if you don't have the security and the data protection.
That is certain.
I think what's interesting, if I may just add one touch to it and come back to the data part, we saw it with some of these startups, but I think even data itself will change, right? I mean, now a company might have my entire data, but if the balance is switching and, you know, I can only give permission to maybe use for a little bit of my data or, you know, add a token or something, I think we're going to see massive change there happening as well. And it's certainly security technologies. I think it's data and its use, it's digital. And I think in the end, it's also infrastructure, right? The digital infrastructure, as we know, still needs to grow. For example, within our environment, we call this the economy of trust, which is kind of really thinking about the different kind of layers from education to infrastructure and others that kind of, you know, allow us to think about trusting much better what we do in a digital world.
That's true. I feel like with obviously more technology comes more complexity and more opportunities to break things. Yeah, Olivier?
Maybe just one thing. I would like to just highlight again the fact that yes, we are speaking about the tool technologies, the organizations, but I think that at the end of the day, we also have to change our vision and our awareness of what this all means. We have to make sure we understand who is doing what with our data. We have to make sure that we are comfortable with the deal. Sometimes it's the implicit deal that we are having between ourselves and the platform, and fixing that sometimes. And of course, I'm not talking about banks, I'm talking about as an individual. And so I believe that there's something that is changing in our society, the way we perceive the value of our data. And I think there's still a long journey for everybody to be clear about that and to start maybe saying, hey, you want to use my personal data to sell it to somebody else. What's in it for me? And just my ability to write mail. But is there anything else we could be doing? Can I get a part of the money you're creating? Or what can I get more than just being able to like my friends and really being the generator of your income? And I think that's an interesting trend that we see in society, starting small. And I really look forward to see the development of that from a societal point of view in the coming years.
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting point. And I hope that it will be a positive change. But, you know, of course, these big corporations and companies have the power and they have all our data. And it's hard unless governments get involved or there's regulation that helps this move forward. It's really hard to achieve change but we'll see. I would like to ask all of you the same question. Well, same two questions. If you could answer, and then that would be sort of the closing of our panel. First part of the question is, do you believe that our two valleys and overall in Switzerland is leading the way in cybersecurity, privacy, data protection? And then the second part of the question is, do you feel like programs like Tech for Trust and these platforms where we see these amazing startups presenting these new ideas and innovative technologies that they're building, are these platforms helpful for investors and bigger companies to find new technologies and new ways to improve their own cybersecurity? Should we start with you, Olivier?
Yes, sure. Yes. So definitely our valleys and Switzerland has been leading on this topic. I mean, we spoke about the history of the banking secrecy, but it's more about the confidentiality overall. So yes, I believe that we are in a very specific country and that we can continue to lead the development of this topic. That's I'm for sure. And with regard to this program, of course, this program is bringing visibility to those startups, enabling them to connect with pros if they have questions or need support on cyber or other trust-related topics. So yes, for me, it's clearly a yes on both.
I'm picking it up from Olivier and backing it up with data just from my mailbox. Not to repeat what he said, but I just opened, for example, the CVVC newsletter and saw all of the work that was done with Africa. I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, you reaching out to places. I've heard of 100 investment. I think, you know, this responds to the question, because this is kind of real things that are happening. And again, you're building up the ecosystem and all of the connection. And the Trust Valley, one of the alumni raised money from Anderson Horowitz as well just last week, right? So boom, here is another big name recognized that's also kind of looking at what's being done here. So I feel like we're still in the early stages, but I have no doubts that combining the efforts will really kind of prove beneficial for the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, also, I cannot agree more than Olivier and Pascal. So I think we are definitely here in the right country with the Trust Valley and the Crypto Valley. And to the second part is, yes, this Tech for Trust is definitely one really, really useful. And I'm positively amazed by to see all these startups and pitching, and it provided them absolutely great visibility, which I haven't been aware at all before. Yeah.
Or maybe does it mean maybe Fortinet is finding some good investment opportunities?
Well, I can't comment on that.
Yeah, maybe for me, I think also we are at the right time, at the right place. I think Switzerland always played an important role in protection of personal wealth and data. Now I think data could really be now a new use case for this mentality and for this infrastructure which is built here. And so I see huge opportunities. I mean, we are neutral and we are not binded to one of these different blocks which are formed, unfortunately, also in the last few decades again, and where frictions are even getting stronger. And so I think we play an important role here. On the other side, I think it's also very important not only to find investors for this use cases, but to find adoption. And I think this we have to see. We are a small market. We can only find adoption in a global market. And I think I would say this is probably the challenge, that we can also really find, you know, or go and conquer big markets with our solutions. And if we achieve this, then I really see a glorious future for this business field.
Well, thank you so much for all of you. And I'm so happy that everybody's in agreement that Switzerland is leading the way, and I hope that remains the same. And of course, from a Crypto Valley perspective, we want to make sure that Switzerland is leading the way in the crypto and blockchain space. And I know from the Trust Valley's perspective, you are tirelessly working on making sure that these Swiss startups get investors, get exposure, and they develop further. So thank you so much. I will hand it back to Shiraz now, and let's hear from the last round of startups.
Thank you, Nikki.
Incredible, Nikki. Thank you so much. It was a really interesting panel, and I look forward to the discussion after as well, to actually speak a little bit about the social engineering of things, in terms of, I think, one of the biggest flaws to maybe startups at the current point in time is the human component, and understanding how kind of security can be led to kind of secure better, or educate better the people that are running these startups. So as we continue on the roadshow, the last round of pitches is going to start now. 8 more for you this evening. So same rules apply, of course, 1.5 minutes per person. And so we have Philippe from Stack Science now on the floor. Are you with us?
Yep, I am.
Perfect. Hope you've been enjoying everything so far. And the question that we have for you today is how would you describe your potential market and what is the addressable market share?
So thank you. So at StackSense, what we do is we bring a platform that enables managed security service providers and the pros to build security service to tackle the growing cloud native market and the DevSecOps. That's a solution that we bring. We're exploiting two main trends in the market. The first trend is that managed services is growing because people cannot find a security expert on the market, and it's very hard for any company to grow the appropriate security team inside, even for the big companies. So lots of the companies, the small ones, the big ones, are all going with managed security service providers. The other thing is with the shift to cloud native infrastructure, the Kubernetes and the DevSecOps is the same issue. It's very hard to find competent and staff people that can develop and migrate legacy application to the Kubernetes applications. So what is happening is that all the companies are subcontracting that. So what we're bringing to the market is a solution to link the two. We bring a way to introduce security in these two offerings. For security service providers, managed security service providers, they'll be able to add cloud native services for their customers. For the pros, they can add the security service to their offer, saying, yes, we're going to develop that new application for you on Kubernetes and whatever, but we can also tackle security. And last but not least, we enable also any talented security people to grow a solution and deliver a solution for the SMBs, which are totally underserved from a security perspective. You just have to look at the issue with the COVID vaccination centers that are getting hacked or these kind of things. They're small enterprise. So our point is, with our platform, you can do from onboarding your customer, delivering security services to the customer, up to the billing of the customer. And that's really what we're tackling right now.
Fantastic. Philippe, thank you so much. Next up, we have Kimo of Sephora. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Incredible. So maybe you can tell us what traction and marketing validation you've made so far.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. So Sephora is a company from Finland that focuses on hardware-based cryptography. We sell intellectual property cores, which are digital design files that our customers can integrate into their own products to implement efficient and high security cryptography. I think our traction and marketing validation are best shown by bringing up certain facts about our revenue, customers, and official partnerships. So since the founding of the company slightly over 4 years ago in 2017, our cumulative revenue has been more than 800,000 euros. So far, we have had more than 10 customers, including 2 Fortune 500 companies. We also have official partnerships with top-tier semiconductor companies, including Intel and Xilinx, which are the 2 largest vendors of our main target technology, mainly field programmable gate arrays. We have had joint sales and marketing activities with all of our 3 official partners, and actually all of them have already brought us some revenue. As an example of these partnerships, we will be featured at the Intel FPGA Technology Day in December this year as one of their selected partners. Thank you.
Wow, fantastic, Kimo. Congratulations. It's great to hear. Next up, we have Paul. Paul from Zen Pulsar. Great to have you with us. I think at least. Paul, are you with us?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Shiraz.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Nice to see you again. So to put back into context, today trust has been hacked and social media weaponized with fake news. So crypto and capital markets are vulnerable. If you look at GameStop, AMC, Litecoin, Dogecoin cases, it caused multi-million-dollar losses for institutional players and amateurish crypto investors. So manipulation represents risk for businesses and investors. So what we do at Zen Pulsar, we founded Zen Pulsar in April 2021. We provide a software as a service powered by AI to monitor and analyze data in real time from social media to detect information campaigns and manipulation. So what we've done within the last 6 months, we've developed 2 online products. Pump is one of them and addresses financial and crypto market manipulation. What does Pump do? It helps our clients quantify and also predict market manipulation by providing correlations between posts, prices, and volume. It currently attracts 300 users, among which 40 financial entities. And our platform serves asset managers, financial and crypto traders, investment bankers, hedge fund strategies. Some of them became our early adopters and early investors. So they are the best ambassadors for the promotion of our platform to reach our target. And we will pursue engaging with major players in financial and crypto market sectors and turn more proof of concept into signed deals. And our goal is to strive to help them regain digital trust. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Very concise. Next up, we have Stepan of QR Crypto, who I know is a great speaker, and we'll have to now limit it to 1.5 minutes.
Thank you. I thought you would ask a question. Our company in 5 years, basically, we want to have a fab in Switzerland producing secure hardware, integrating our technology, and how to reach that point that obviously needs investment in the scale of billions. And we are investigating various possibilities, including IPO, but why not, since we are in the crypto valley, quantum safe, first ever ICO. And now I will diffuse a short message about our company.
Dear friends, we just want to clarify what is this product which we are offering right now. If you look at the planetary situation, the world business is about $88 trillion or 80 trillion Swiss francs. 25% of that is actually digital or cyber. So a quarter of the world business is literally through your phone or computer or various cyber devices. Now, that is already staggering because we are talking about 25 trillion. However, about 25% of that is a crime. And we give you additional list of various crimes that you can look independently, because the cyberspace is full of crimes because international standards are not serious and not implemented. And everybody knows that from insurances upwards. So what do we offer? We have a very simple solution. We offer you software and plug in SIM card. That's all. It works from 2G to 6G. And it works also with quantum computers eventually. If we need it, we can work even now. And it's very inexpensive, very simple to install. And we are available. We are a Swiss company with all the nitty-gritty, all the knowledges, and you can verify. We have all the information, so you have nothing to worry about. You want to be protected in this digital world. You want to be protected in the cyberspace. You are insurance, you are government, you are military, you are health, or any other activity. With us, you have solution here and now. Plug in. All the very best remain available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, Stepan. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Next up, we have Andre of Binar. Are you with us? Andre?
Yes.
Or Dr. Andre, sorry. Perfect.
Yes. Hello, Shiraz.
Hello. Maybe you can define for us your 1 and 5 year impact that you're trying to accomplish with Binar.
Yes, thank you. My name is Andre Costin, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Binare.io, a Finnish company where we develop automated IoT cybersecurity for billions of IoT devices. We are on a mission to secure their firmware and software so that they are protected against now and future cyber attacks. Currently, we are a team of 8, and in 1 year, we have a goal of reaching a team of 24 and ensuring a revenue of 1 million annual revenue. And for 5 years, the scalability of our technical solution and also of the business that we foresee in terms of expanding our R&D and product expansions, we look forward to building a 10 million annual revenue company, basically a 100 million valued company in 5 years from now. But foremost and very important is we are aiming to secure at least 1 billion of devices, meaning that our technology and the platform that we develop can detect vulnerabilities in the firmwares that go in at least 1 billion of devices. And I think that would be a really important milestone, because there will be 50 billions of devices and there will be 50 billions of opportunities to both be exploited, but also to get secured. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shiraz.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Next up, we have Alex from Condensation D8.
Condensation, yes.
Condensation, my bad, sorry. Maybe you can tell us what problem and customer pain points you're trying to solve with regards to trust in society.
Hello, yes, thank you. So let me start by giving a bit of context. So Switzerland is in a trend for the next decade, which I mean, maybe you know, it's to develop the smart cities, it's to propose even more personalized services and to develop connected communities. It's some of the moonshot that they stated. And all of it involves the personal and private data, which used to be managed in clouds. But you know, it can be risky and inefficient to centralize all the data in a single place. So 7 years ago, we wondered, what if data can be managed directly where it is created and can be exchanged directly from a device to another without trusting the network? Of course, you have many challenges when you try to do that. You have to avoid sharing data with redundancy. You have to ensure the data is available as you are not in the cloud anymore. And you have to make sure that everyone on the network is sharing the same version and you don't have distributed versions that are diverging. Obviously, we are very lucky here because our devices are now optimized for encryption. And with condensation, we propose an elegant solution to encrypt the data itself and not what contains it. Basically, what it does is that it transforms a local database in a blockchain that is owned by every user and can be exchanged so that the data can flow with end-to-end encryption and with the guarantees of digital certification of integrity and authenticity. So there, the user can get the real ownership of their data, and real trust can be established between a sender and a receiver. And yes, that's why I co-founded Condensation. My mission now is to open source the technology. And if you want to build zero trust distributed application, I'm very happy to connect and to dig deeper into the topic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex. Next up, we have Ken of ProDraft. Are you with us?
Hi. Hello, everyone. It's ProDraft. It's John here. Thank you, Shiraz. So basically, yep, up to you, Shiraz.
Yes.
So I was just like diving into,
yeah, maybe you can,
yeah.
Yes, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what your competitive advantage is relative to existing and similar technologies.
Okay, so I'm John, so the co-founder and CEO of ProDraft. So we are a cyber threat intelligence company based in ePark in Yverdon. So there are many solutions on the market today to defend companies somehow. So, however, like these solutions are reactive in its nature. What I mean by reactive is companies use firewalls, EDRs, XDRs, CMs. So they're necessary for sure, but they can only detect a threat after it's too late. So we are looking at the other side of the fence. We propose a proactive solution. We monitor hackers' environments and inform companies whenever there is a potential cyber threat, which may affect the company itself, their employees, or their customers. Basically, we have a software as a service solution in which we send relevant threat information like compromised credentials, identity theft cases, phishing attempts. We also terminate these potential threats before the problem gets bigger. We are a team of 55, only formed by technical people. The company HQ is in ePark. We also have an office in Istanbul. This month, we opened another office in the Netherlands. I'm in The Hague in a hotel room. Everything closed after 5 at times. So our clients are mostly from the finance sector, but we also work with insurance, healthcare, energy, and aviation. So basically, any company dealing with data or money is our potential client. We have over 120 customers and serving more than 30 retail banking institutions. All of our infrastructure, including the platform, is hosted in Switzerland in exascale. So we're one of the first TI companies globally. Why being first is important? Because we developed our platform directly with the feedback and necessities from our clients. And instead of sending raw data, we send customized threat reports. So we say we bring bad news for your own good. Thank you, Shiraz.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I do believe that's potentially the last startup pitch that we have today, unless Matthew, you're here with us. I think it's marked here on my sheet that he might not be here. Going once, going twice. So I think that is a wrap.
The last one.
Oh, there is?
Yes, Matthew is not here today, so Ken was the last one for today.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks, Bruno, for stepping in. And so I think we do have another 15 minutes left for a digital networking session. So to my belief, you're very much free to ask your questions in the Q&A box. Also, I think even it might be possible to unmute yourselves. I'm not too sure. But maybe Nikki, you might be able to give some further context as to how everyone can participate. If Nikki is still here, or Bruno, do you?
Yes, I am here. Sorry, I was talking and I was on mute. So yes, as you mentioned, it's best if everybody puts their questions in the Q&A box, and then I can see your name and I will be able to unmute you if you would like to ask a question.
Perfect. Yeah, I think a lot of our panelists are still all here. Actually as well.
Yeah.
So if you
actually, everybody feel free to come back on camera now if you would like to. Nice. Oh, lovely picture. I'm going to take a screenshot with all of us in it. I'm just going to give another minute or two while everybody comes back on camera. So we have
Nikki, what are you going to do with my privacy then? My private image.
I'm sorry, do I have everybody's consent?
Yes, you have mine, Nikki.
I love the thumbs up. No questions are arriving in the Q&A box.
So there is one question from James, I think that just came up. Asking if it's pragmatic and economically viable to have KYC and AML checks for onboarding investors.
James, would you like, let me just see if I can unmute you. And then you can also, okay, I'm allowing you to talk, James. Hi, James.
Hi.
So who would you like to answer this question?
I think this is just a general question to the panelists. Just a background, I work in private equity, and so we always have this topic in investing industry of kind of doing KYC checks and onboarding in different geographies. And I see the capability of security on one hand with from the trust element on the blockchain network, and I really struggle to see, is there, is it even possible or economically viable to have kind of a company that operates KYC and anti-money laundering checks on this topic, because we talk about trust for tech?
So James, I'm going to try to answer and how we see that here for us. Specifically when you onboard clients that can come with many thousands of Bitcoin, making sure that you are able to do a proper KYC is fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
So we have developed quite a lot of processes, and we are using different tools to make sure that we are pushing this KYC to the maximum. And we believe that it's a cost. We had to refuse to onboard, quite a number of prospects. But again, we are back to what you mentioned at the end of your question. It's about trust and making sure that you want to have a client base that is for the long term, in fact. And so it's a choice that has been taken by Signum. And I believe that it's part of doing the proper business. When you are in the market for the long run, and I'm just speaking for us.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think in part. I mean, it is a challenging question. I know that. So it's something maybe that will take a little bit of time, I think, to find its way into the market on a larger scale. That's for sure.
Yeah, we are indeed, if we are talking about, cryptos, we are indeed using some of those services that are trying to get or to provide evidence of what has been the past of that wallet, what were the transactions, do they look okay? Can we supplement the declaration of your prospect saying, yeah, I had that money thanks to my early investment or to my just salary? We're trying to back that up with some technical information. It's, I think it's still very early meaning we do not have the same KYC history that we have for fiat clients, but still it's a topic in which we are investing, and we are using a lot of partner companies and product to do that as well as possible.
No, that's clear. Thank you very much for that.
And if I may add Oliver to that, I think actually like one of the reasonings behind actually like the whole DeFi like ecosystem coming up is because actually like the whole KYC and AML part actually wasn't pragmatic for a lot of people. And is it economically viable? I think I totally agree with what Oliver said based on the long term. I mean, you need actually to do it. But then you really do have this clash, and actually working together actually with Martin here as well from the legal side. I think KYC and AML is very, very important. But then how do you explain this to people that now have the ability to kind of operate DeFi protocols and actually not do it? And it's going to be very interesting to see how the future actually is built from this perspective. But yeah, I think it's actually a very challenging one with the whole digital spectrum that's about now.
If I may add something here, I think it's really important to do it from the beginning on, because the bigger a project gets, the bigger the investors are, or also maybe once you want to list somewhere. I think then if you have a history where at the beginning you didn't do it right and you think we'll do it later, it's very, very difficult and by far more expensive to correct this if you didn't do it at the beginning. So I think it's because then you have to chase everyone, people may not reply. So it's much easier and cheaper to have really a very clear policy from the beginning on, so that you keep your stuff clean and proper. Otherwise, just one little thought could really put at risk maybe a new investment round with some professional investors. They want to know who is onboarded, etc. So I would very strongly advise to do this. And I think this is, KYC, AML, it's something here to stay. And I think we have also to see there is an advantage now. There are many digital means, many also service providers who do this at quite low costs. This was not the case 10 years ago. Then you generally had to do it with paper documentation, etc., etc. Now you have really some instruments, where you pay not so much per onboarding a client or an investor as you did a few years ago. So I would really be to have here a proactive approach and to try to keep really all your everything clean, just also to protect the co-investors.
And now I see there's a lot of questions coming in, which is great. Let's start with, I think we have a question from Veronica. Veronica, I'm going to unmute you.
Yes, hi.
Oh, you're already here. Okay, perfect.
Yes, I'm here. So I guess the question of trust goes both ways, right? So the startup, let's assume we're not talking about a cybersecurity startup, but just a startup, right? It's a small entity, just like it was mentioned before. They don't think first of securing their cyberspace. So what solutions are there available for startups, for small startups who are not in the cybersecurity domain, to employ this from the beginning, which is what you heard was important. That's number one, in one direction, in one sense. And in the other sense, what type of questions should they be thinking to ask potential investors in terms of their own compliance with cybersecurity and digital security measures they use? I don't know who this question is addressed.
Ishan, do you think that would be something that you would want to answer?
Yes. I think it's a question specifically to me. What kind of products exist? So basically, our products are general solutions. So we are not targeting. Most of them are not targeting a special industry. So the question is now, which products are going to be interesting for you or not? So I mean, we can either meet afterwards and look at it particularly, but in general, you can use most of our products in all the industries and independent of the company size.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then we have Danielle who has a question. I'm going to unmute her because she's in the audience. Danielle, you should be able to talk now.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my question is mainly focused on the blockchain technologies, and I'm curious if which are the layer one solutions that are taken in considerations, or if specific layer one solution are needed in order to solve the problem that were exposed today.
In terms of layer one solutions for what, solving what?
So for example, so we saw, for example, the origin tracking of products, where they are going to process this information, so where they are going to store this data, or if the companies are developing a custom solution specifically for them.
I am not sure who would be best suited to answer this question. Steve?
Hi, I can talk a little bit to that. I mean, in the past, the ability to be able to secure personal data and manage how it's processed in line with regulations and what you set out in your transparency statements has been the premise of organizations that have a large amount of funding, and often they have built solutions themselves to do that. Companies like Spotify, for example. There are now solutions like ourselves that are designed for all sizes of companies to be able to do that and bring the ability to be better at privacy, be better at data security, for the advantage of our customers, but also the advantage of individuals whose data is processed. So the answer, I guess, is the solutions are not unique to a company now as they used to be, just purely because of cost and the fact that there's no off-the-shelf solutions out there. Ourselves can provide a solution, and I'm sure a number of the other Trust Valley participants can also provide solutions in that area.
Steve, did you put your contact information into the chat? Maybe that would be helpful.
Yes, several times, but I don't mind doing it again.
Perfect. Patrick, I see that you had a question as well, and since you're already have the ability to speak, why don't you ask your question?
Oh, thank you. So I'm now on the other side. So just one short question. When talking about cybersecurity, I think it's always talking about technology, processes, and key management and all access management. But one part of this is security inside. I want to have a quick question of the panel. What do you think about the security concerning the protocols or the coins you want to implement? Are all treated equally? Do you have any ideas how you handle these?
Okay, so I'm going to try to provide some insight on that, Patrick. So as I said previously, working on the security of the protocols and the code is fundamental for us. So we take nothing for granted. When you have open source code, of course, you feel more comfortable to use it, but you do your own due diligence on that. You make sure that at least what we do is when we develop, some of our own code for different protocols, or just to glue existing part of the code. We make sure that we have not only inside the team for eye reviews of the code, but most of the time we use external parties to really come and have a detailed and very intrusive look at our code. And it's only after having like that several for eye review that we really feel comfortable that we can push that to the on the chain. And what we are trying to do is we are also trying to publish in GitLab or GitHub some of our code so that it can be reused by the community and also proved further by external users. So it's a combination of usual practices, but for me, as I said at the right at the beginning, it's at the heart of the intellectual property that we are creating. So we have to make sure that this is secured. And as I said, it's not only at the code level, but also at the business logic level. And I think this is quite a challenging topic. At least that's the way I see it.
Okay.
We have a question from Kiran. I will unmute you, Kiran, right now. Now you should be able to talk. Kiran, can you try to speak and see if you can ask your question? Okay, well, I can actually read it out loud. So given the understanding of the impossibility of perfect security, breach detection or data integrity, what are everyone's preferred policies for blockchain pruning and data destruction? Would anybody like to answer this question? It sounds very technical, so I have no idea who should be best suited to answer, but I also think that we're running out of time. So I'm not sure if we should take one more question or should we just close. I see people are leaving the meeting and it's coming close to 7:30, so maybe we can end on a high note. All right, I think that's a yes from everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck to the startups. Thank you, our panelist friends, and everybody who has been involved in organizing this event. Have a nice evening and happy holidays. I know it's a little early, but last day of November, so we're entering holiday season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice evening.